Hi everybody, I'm landscape designer John Holden, and I'm here in Newtown, Connecticut at my home on a somewhat frigid April morning. I'd like to go ahead and show you how to go about planting a daffodil swath like we have here that looks natural. Now, I planted this about 3 years ago and I think it looks pretty natural. So I'd like to just go ahead and pass a few tips along to you on how to go about doing it. There are 3 tricks I use to plant daffodils to have this beautiful natural effect. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plant my daffodils in a staggered fashion. So I'm not just going to create a row along the edge of the garden. I'm going to create several rows and stagger them so that it doesn't really look like a formal planting. Second thing I'm going to do, which I didn't do too much of here, but if it was a larger planting, is the farther back into the bed I got, I would increase my spacing so the flowers are going to basically get less and less the farther back we go. And then the third thing I do is when I'm planting, I don't just put one bulb in each hole. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and take my spade, dig all my holes first, and then go back and put anywhere from 3 to 5 daffodil bulbs in the holes. And that's going to create some variation in the number of flowers per clump, but it's going to give me that nice clumpy feel that you see here to create that natural feel. Let me take the camera off the tripod and see if we can just kind of show you what I'm talking about. As you're looking at this planting in front of me, it's grown in a bit, so you might not see it quite as well as when I first did it, but there are 3 distinct rows I've planted here. We've got one in the front, there's one row of plants here, and then there's another row of plants here. So as I planted this bed, I have a hole I would have dug here, a hole here, a hole here. And then when I talk about staggering the rows, where there's the first row here, I've got another row planted between, farther back, but between. It's almost like a checkerboard where you're planting every other square on the checkerboard. It doesn't have to be that formal or that official, but just as you're going through the bed and planting, try not to have all your plants in like neat little rows. Stagger them around a bit to spread them out. Now, this garden isn't my best example of staggering the plantings farther back. I really was more going for a grouped feel at the front of the bed here. But the one example I have is if you look at this one plant at the back of the garden, if I was trying to naturalize this area, or let's say this was the edge of the woodland, I would stay very heavy at the front of the bed like we are here, but then from this point on I would extend the plants much farther, and then maybe from the first 4 to 5 feet back, going back, I double the distance between my bulbs. Then getting farther back, I double it again, until eventually even if I put them 20 or 30 feet back into the woods, if I just had a few groupings scattered about to make it look like the bulbs started heavy in the front and then are gradually spreading. So if you take a look here, we've got one that's just kind of run away on us. When I planted these daffodils, what I did is I came through with my shovel and I dug all these holes first. These daffodils, I had some growing in the front of the house. I just divided them and brought them back. But if I had bought a bag of, let's see, for this area, I probably would easily have like 50 or so bulbs to do it. But what I would do is I'd go through, take my spade and dig a nice hole about 6 inches in diameter, about 6 inches deep for each group. And I would dig all those holes first. Then I'd come back with my bag of bulbs and place them in the hole, anywhere from 3 to 5, even more if you have a few extra. But you want to just randomly put them in there. Again, it doesn't have to be super random or super perfect. Just make them groups. Once all the bulbs are in the holes, then just go back and fill them in. It's that easy. If you live in the Newtown, Trumbull, or Shelton, Connecticut area, and you'd like some help with your landscape design or landscaping work, please feel free to give me a call in the Newtown office at 203-270-9881 or visit our website at landdesigns.com. As always, folks, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you again soon.